said that on the Heavenly Father's right hand there are pleasures evermore. And it says that I have not seen, neither ear heard the things which the Lord hath prepared for them that wait for him. You know, there's a whole another world of greatness that awaits us when the kingdom of heaven is established. It's not seen in this society. In this society, we only see carnal things that reason offers in this society. But when the kingdom is established, the Lord is going to open us up to a whole nother world, you know, of pleasure, of knowledge, of wisdom, understanding, you know, can't even be put into words. You know, because our imagination only goes but so far.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
So we're being restored, but we're not going to be restored to what we used to have. We're going to be restored to something even better. And this is why the second covenant, which was established upon better promises, is a better fit for us.
But now hath he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind, and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. In that he saith a new covenant, he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away.
That with us when the kingdom of heaven is established.
Harder and harder to track and aid.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shabbat, Shem Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who brew well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations. Hopefully they got there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Shah, pushing to get it out here. Shalom to the hopefully the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem, Shah. And we're going to get into this morning. All right, is dealing with, going into 23, because we know, 2022 has been very eventful. The Lord is constantly, taking this thing to the next phase as, this thing is getting ready to close out. Okay, and what I want to start off is one precept real quick, if a brother can post it, and then we're going to get into, a couple videos and just see, what's happening, man. Okay, because at the end of the day, prophecy, leads to our salvation. This chaos, leads to our salvation. Okay, the brother can post it as well. Acts, 14 and 22. Okay, was that Matthew 24 and 21? Okay, the days of tribulation. Okay, all these things have to happen. Okay, before the ushering in of a righteous empire. Okay, Now, let's get that in 1 Peter 4 and 7. Let's get that in 1 Peter 4 and 7 as well. Okay, so we'll get these precepts and then we'll go into this first video. All right. Now, this the brother Beyond Yasha'Allah. This is Acts 14 and 22. It says, confirming the souls of the disciples. Okay, and we have to be rooted in faith that the Lord is going to bring us through these times. Our faith has to be unmovable to make it through what we're going to go through. And the Lord brings us through things in our day-to-day to build up that unmovable faith. Okay. He takes us through small tribulation now to build us up in that unmovable faith in the times to come. Okay. Because we're going to be rock solid in what we believe. Okay. It said, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. Okay, because it's going to look extremely bad, man. It's going to look extremely difficult to try to make it through what we have to go through. We're going to be faced with impossible situations, man. Okay, it says, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of the Most High. Okay, through much tribulation, we must enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So that tribulation has to come, and we're seeing the build up to it. Okay, and we're going to be tried and tested, but then there's also precepts on what? Favor. Okay, so, and we'll get that, on the back end. Now let's get this. This is, matter of fact, get this first. This is Matthew 24 and 21, the brother Bayan Yasha'Allah. It says, for then shall there be great tribulation. Remember, it just said what? Through much tribulation, okay, shall we enter into the kingdom of the Most High, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Okay, no, nor ever shall be. You see? So we're coming into the worst time ever, and we're keeping up with the build up to it. Whether you believe it or not, it's coming. Okay, whether you agree, whether you don't like the way our garments look, okay, it's coming. You see? And why I say we just keep track of the build up to it. Now, let's get this here. This is 1 Peter 4 and 7. This is the brother Yashima tribe of Judah. It says, but the end of all things is in hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Okay. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Okay. Having a mindset. And see, prayer is a big thing too. Prayer protects us from these enchantments and doubt. Satan try to pretty much hinder your spirit, jumping on people and causing, controversy and certain things. So it's like prayer is a defense, and we have to pray more and more, and that should be the first thing we do in the morning is giving Yahweh Shema Al-Shai our first fruits of energy through prayer. Okay. And the last thing we do before we go to sleep, now, it's not going to be perfect. Sometimes we might miss the mark every now and then, but there should be our intent, to make him the first, the in between, and the last, man, within all these circumstances that's going on in the earth, man. You have to pray to be circumspect, pray to make wise decisions, pray for the right spirit to be in, not to be making emotional decisions. You see, because we come into a time of change. Okay. It's going to be a time where our normalcy is going to be broken up on a whole nother level. There's going to be some new norms. The Most High going to create some new norms amongst the believers. Okay. Situations going to change. Living arrangements could change. Locations could change. You see? So we have to be in the spirit to make, wise decisions in these times. Okay. Being sober-minded, being level. Understanding what the will of Yahweh Shema Al-Shai is, man. Understanding how to move in the spirit. You can feel when you're doing something that's in sync with the spirit. Yahweh Shema Al-Shai lets you know when we're doing something, in sync with the spirit, with his will. Okay. Now, I want to go here, okay, and get this video. Let me blow it back up. And this pretty much just an overview of 2022 going into 2023, things that have happened, things that are happening are predicted to happen, going into 2023, At the end of the day, and the scriptures say the effect of every vision is at hand, though it tarry, it will not tarry. You see? So I'm gonna play this, and then we'll go from there.
Pandemic. 2020 world crisis. In 2021, we battled a pandemic. 2022 was the start of a geopolitical chess game with global consequences. Let's find out what the world has to face in 2023, the next crisis year. In this video, we talk about the future of the Ukraine war, the economic collapse we witness, dissect all crises we face right now, and important events that could, and probably will, change the course of our future. If you thought 2022 was bad, you should brace for impact. Welcome to Dark New World. The last 3 years were a wild ride. So many changes, so many events that triggered crises, wars, famines, and other consequences we cannot even imagine right now. The world feels like everything is upside down. 2023 will be another crisis year. In this year, we will see global changes, the consequences of the Ukraine war all over the world, important elections, and even the danger of the start of possible conflicts. At the moment, the world has not yet fully recovered from the COVID pandemic. The pandemic highlighted the weaknesses in our fragile just-in-time delivery system, a system that is only working when everything is happening as expected. It is a system that doesn't allow for any disruptions. But now, the world struggles with the COVID fallout and the war in Europe. The world economy is sliding into a crisis, global, interconnected, and with no solution at the horizon. The global economy is now expected to grow by 2.7%, 0.2 percentage points lower than previously expected. While increased energy prices were the major problem for the Eurozone, outbreaks of the COVID-19 pandemic in China have become a persistent cause of supply chain problems. China's growth is forecast to accelerate to 4.4% next year, meager by Chinese standards, and 0.2% down on July's outlook. Although the United States labor market remains strong, job growth appears to be slowing in response to the US Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rates increases. The IMF slashed its outlook for growth in the United States from 2.3 to 1.6% this year. It expects only tepid growth of 1% in 2023. The world economy has run into multiple obstacles, with the war in Ukraine driving up food and energy prices already elevated by the COVID pandemic. Soaring inflation and rising interest rates also threaten to reverberate. So the economic crisis that the world is in right now is our background. It links, sometimes triggers, and sometimes amplifies crises that seem to have nothing to do with the financial markets and the economy. Whatever happens in a country, a bad economic situation will strengthen the observable effects. For example, next year, there will be parliamentary and presidential elections in Turkey. The country has regional ambitions, and it has disputes with almost all its neighbors, especially Greece. The dispute about militarization of islands right off the Turkish coast were the headlines for weeks, but also its role in the Ukraine conflict as a mediator between Ukraine and Russia. The economic situation in Turkey is not looking good. A record-breaking 85% inflation is making life for ordinary Turks increasingly difficult. But with the upcoming elections, we will see protests and more than heated debates in Turkey. After the failed coup attempt in 2016, everything is possible. In this case, the economic situation can make a normal process like an election a dangerous event. President Erdogan will face more resistance than ever in the next year's election, and outside players will try to interfere in the country. But Turkey is not the only country that faces a recession and high inflation. Even in Europe, things are not looking good. The war in Ukraine will not be solved overnight, and prices are rising with no end in sight. The problem is that many people don't understand that the price increases were only the beginning and that inflation could stay for years. In that case, many won't be able to maintain their standard of living. Especially income-weaker households will struggle more and more with the situation. And next year, the European economy will take a direct hit from the war in Ukraine. With a lack of Russian gas, producers will have to increase prices for almost everything. The consequence is that from bread to cars to housing, everything will cost you a fortune in Europe. And that will take people to the streets. As for the war in Ukraine, it will reach its next phase. The fact that the Russians are starting to target Ukrainian civil infrastructure is an indicator that the war reached a new level. Moscow will do everything it can to achieve its goals. We maybe see a new offensive on Kiev with the help of Belarusian forces in the north. And finally, there is the danger of the use of weapons of mass destruction. The world is looking at this conflict in fear. But personally, I doubt that there will be any final conclusions to this war next year. But after a year of fighting, the rest of the world will start to feel the consequences, especially the third world. Food importing countries will have to face gigantic price increases, or in some cases, famine. Sharp reductions in export volumes in 2022 are the result of ongoing fighting in regions with Black Sea ports. Alternative routes via land are slower and due to constant shelling dangerous. On land, wheat and corn supplies attempting to exit Ukraine via the rail network or on truck transport will have to face logistical bottlenecks. In total, Ukrainian exports have dropped by 15 to 19 million metric tons by sea. And on the Russian side, export volumes have dropped by 2 to 3 million metric tons. The limited food supply is an important factor for the price increases in the global food sector. The high food prices will undoubtedly affect all countries, but some are more capable of managing the food shortages and price shocks than others. For example, countries to look out for in 2023 are Bangladesh, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Yemen. These countries rely on grain imports, have limited stock, and low purchasing power. There is a high probability that we will see humanitarian crises show up all over the globe, paired with riots and danger of armed conflict in poor regions. The war in Ukraine won't be the only conflict next year. And these conflicts will make it harder and harder to track and aid in these situations. Institutions like the United Nations will have their hand full and will probably call for help. At the same time, the political situation in the West, paired with inflation, will lead to less coverage of these events, as Europe and the US are busy with internal affairs and the war in Ukraine. And on a global political scale, many countries are turning away from the open global markets and the current world order. Over the past 2 decades, there has been an astonishing restructuring of global economic power. This has been driven primarily by the rise of China and, to lesser extent, the BRICS countries. More broadly, with addition to the East Asian giants, encompass Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa. As this group has become increasingly formalized and institutionalized, hosting regular summits and establishing collective bodies, many observers have worried that its growing influence might be accompanied by the normalization of authoritarian forms of state capitalism and even the unraveling of the liberal order. Others have taken a more sanguine view, arguing that Eastern forms of state-led development appear superior in many ways to Anglo-American economic and political structures. And this is reconcilable with, and indeed depends on, an open global economy. Either way, the concerns of many Western liberals have resurfaced following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Recent news that other mostly non-democratic states, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, or even NATO member Turkey, have either applied to join the BRICS or are considering doing so, is also cause for concern among Western governments. It looks like Asia and the West are departing from each other, economically to some extent, but more on a political level. The Western model will be strongly under pressure under any government that wants to adapt or maintain it in East or Central Asia. And as the West itself is struggling with the world situation, many will turn to more authoritarian forms of government. Global freedom faces a dire threat. Around the world, the enemies of liberal democracy, a form of self-government in which human rights are recognized and every individual is entitled to equal treatment under law, in theory, are accelerating their attacks. Authoritarian regimes have become more effective at co-opting or circumventing the norms and institutions meant to support basic liberties and at providing aid to others who wish to do the same. In countries with long-established democracies, internal forces have exploited the shortcomings in their systems, distorting national politics to promote hatred, violence, and unbridled power. Those countries that have struggled in the space between democracy and authoritarianism are increasingly tilting towards the latter. The global order is nearing a tipping point, and if democracy's defenders do not work together to help guarantee freedom for all people, the authoritarian model will prevail. In the end, 2023 will be another step towards the world of the 21st century. And this world is different from the world we know. There will be many changes, and they will come fast and swift. For careful observers, next year will give us hints in which direction the world is heading for the next few decades. Many decisions from today will matter and shape the world for the coming century. Although the situation is scary, at the same time it's hard to deny that we are in one of the most interesting times in human history. It remains to be seen if the world on the other side of this everything crisis is better or worse than before. But it's not looking too good right now. If you want to see more videos like this, then consider to like and subscribe. And here we have 2 of my latest videos to continue. My name is Dennis, thank you for watching and goodbye.
Recordings just got better.
So as you can see, all right, there's a lot of anticipation dealing with 2023. Okay, more civil unrest. All right, the economy making major changes. Nations pretty much opting out of the old way, of doing business, doing trade. Okay, and pretty much the elites, it's anticipated that they really gonna set the standard towards their NWO. Okay, there's gonna be a lot of suffering as these elites attempt to set up, their NWO. All right, I'm gonna cue up this next video. I'm gonna get some precepts first. I'm gonna cue up this next video, and we'll get some more precepts. All right. So this from the brother Bayan Yashala, because this is going to bring about suffering. Okay, Esau is going to bring suffering to get people to tap out to his NWO. Okay, this is Sirach 40:9 from the brother Bayan Yashala. It said, "Death and bloodshed, strife and sword, calamities, famine, tribulation, and the scourge." Okay, and these things are upon us. Okay. These things are created for the wicked, and for their sakes came the flood. See, there's a global judgment coming to the earth. Okay? Because Esau, Edom, if a brother can post 1 John 5:19, because Esau, Edom has led the earth in the all-out rebellion against Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. Okay? People are not only wicked, but they're proud and boastful in their wickedness, man. Okay? And why scripture say, for their sakes came the flood. And we see flood behavior when you look at, because social media is really nothing much more than the way that the Lord allowed people to display their folly, to display wickedness, to display their mindsets. Okay, and it's very anti-Messiah, it's very destructive. Okay, just as in the time before the flood. And see, all these things are being prepped because the Lord is about to judge the earth. He's about to make statements in the earth. Okay? So we're seeing the behavior of the earth. Now we're about to see the judgment play out for their behavior, man. And that's why we, all right, through repentance, seek for mercy. We're trying to cop a plea. Okay? We don't want to get caught up in these things. All right? As the brother posted in Sirach 40:9, death and bloodshed, strife, sword. It's going to be a lot of household. You see how the Jews divided, the households, divided families, divided, pretty much created the anti-Jews and the pro-Jews. Well, how much more in these times is going to be division? Okay? You're going to have the persecution of the word, persecution of, the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Okay, there's going to be a lot of division in the earth, a lot of strife, a lot of civil unrest, a lot of militias and, different demographics at war. Okay, a lot of gun violence. The sword, gun violence is going to go up crazy in the earth, man. Okay, especially in America, it's going to be like a big Call of Duty. You see? Now this is the brother, all right, Yashima tribe of Judah. This is First John 5:19. It says, and we know that we are the Most High, and the whole world lieth in wickedness, man. The earth is just saturated in wickedness. Okay? And there's a judgment for that. And Esau has people in the mindset as if there's no judgment. He got people in the mindset like he's the beginning and the end, okay, of judgment. You see? So I want to play this video. This from like 2 weeks ago, but we see him gearing up again. Okay, I just want to reiterate it. Okay, that they're gearing up again. The same, format that they did for the C19. All right, they're starting that same process again. Okay, so I'm gonna let this quick video play. Get some more precepts, and I got one little small video. As I just want to hit the points directly.
This is Dabu 7. I want to make sure that everyone out there realizes that they're at it again. The John Hopkins Center for Health Security posting that in partnership with the WHO and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they have just conducted this catastrophic contagion, which is a pandemic tabletop exercise. And they did it at the Grand Challenges annual meeting in Brussels, Belgium on October 23rd, 2022. It was in October of 2019 that the whole Event 201 meetings were going down. And shortly thereafter, our whole world changed. Here, they just had another huge tabletop exercise. And they're saying that this extraordinary group of participants consisted of 10 current and former health ministers and different public health officials from places like Senegal, Rwanda, Nigeria, Angola, Liberia, Singapore, India, Germany, and as well as having Bill Gates, the co-chair of that foundation. They're saying that the exercise simulated a series of WHO Emergency Health Advisory Board meetings that were addressing a fictional pandemic setting in the near future. The participants grappled with how to respond to an epidemic located in one part of the world that spread rapidly to another, becoming a pandemic with a higher fatality rate than C19 and disproportionately affecting children and young people. Participants were challenged to make urgent policy decisions with limited information in the face of uncertainty. Each problem and choice had serious health, economic, and social ramifications. That's all it says. That is it. This is from the Center for Health Security.org posted, covering this information that they had this big exercise, all these participants, the same old minions. And it's like, are we about to walk into something else right around the corner? Well, make of it what you will. This is what's gone down. I'm going to be breaking this down further on the next live stream. Join me 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday and Friday nights, talking about things like this in greater detail, censorship free, and a whole lot more.
So there you have it, and we see, all right, that they're gearing up. Okay, so who knows, all right, when they're gonna roll, okay, this whole new demic out. Okay, but we know they're gonna come with something because they have an agenda. Okay, they have an enterprise that they want to crown. If a brother can get that in Was that Job 5 and 11 and 12, or 12 and 11? You know, you brothers know what it said. But let's get that. And I got one more because they already have the solutions. You know, they finna create the problem, and they're gonna have prescribed solutions. And one thing we know, they want to get more digital. Okay, when you go here, they want to get more digital. Okay, this is Blacklisted News. Okay.com, and you have this article here. Okay, and it's got a little video with it. We'll watch the little video, and we'll get a couple precepts. You know, I say this was straight to the point. You know, just to give a synopsis of the energy going to the next year. Okay, now let me go into it. The article says this. It says coalition of private companies release policy blueprint for state government officials to push, okay, for digital ID. Okay, and you know this is going to be pushed with the next demic. Okay, and it says Better Identity Coalition, the BIC. Okay, now I'm gonna play this quick video.
Someone just tried to open a credit card in your name. If it was you, how did you prove it? Did you enter a password, an old pet's name, your social security number? And if it wasn't you, if it was someone pretending to be you, what's to stop this from going forward? It all comes down to digital identity. As Americans do more online, we need the right systems in place to verify and protect our identities. The traditional systems haven't translated well to the digital world, and fraudsters have figured out how to crack them. There's been widespread identity fraud. Social security numbers are no longer secure. That's why the Better Identity Coalition is charting a path forward, eliminating passwords, rethinking the social security number, modernizing identity proofing and verification, and more. Now, we need to partner with government to bring these solutions to life. The digital world is full of exciting new possibilities. It's time our digital identities caught up. Visit betteridentity.org to learn more.
So as you can see, you know, they want the government to get more involved, okay, in the digital development, okay, of his people. You see? They're going to push it as an upgrade, as a way to protect your privacy. Here it is, they spy on you, okay? Then they tell you it's to protect, okay, your privacy, okay? You see that? And this is the things that they're going to push when they bring this new demic. They got things already in place that they're going to push. They have an agenda already in place that they're going to push. You see, and these big companies are pretty much running the earth, what they call technocrats. Okay? So let's go here. Let's get a couple of you brothers' precepts. This is going into 2023. These are the things that, all right, Esau Edom has up his sleeve. Okay? But we know what? He's going to be disappointed. You see, that's our faith. And that's the whole thing. We go into these things, but the back end is, look, our faith is that this man is going to be disappointed. This is Brother B'Yan Yashala, Job 5 and 12 say he disappointed the device of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Okay? They're not going to have the ability, the strength. Okay, the earth was given it to them. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Okay, but he's not going to be able to perform. He's not going to have the strength. Okay, to pull this off. The Most High is scripting this man down, making him bear, and that's why he's trying to speed up, because he feels his grip loosening in the earth, man. Okay, this whole NWO, this New World Order agenda, is him trying to regain a grip in the earth. Okay. Verse 13, it says, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the fraud is carried headlong. So everything that this man is trying to do to stay in power is removing him out of power. Okay, and the major thing that has happened, he's been fully revealed by the spirit of Yahushua. Now you have his own tongue falling upon him as well, as we go into alternative news and see different things and different reports. But ultimately, you know, the major exposure is calling this devil the Edomite and going to the narrative of the Bible dealing with the Edomites. Okay, that's what he doesn't want to play out. Okay, now we take the information from alternative news and we filter it through the scriptures and edify, all right, as watchmen. Okay, but what Edom wants to stop is the narrative, all right, of what's going to happen to the Edomites according to biblical prophecy, man. Okay, this is what this man wants to stop, and this is what he's rushing and scrambling to do. Okay, this the brother Yashima tribe of Judah, Job 20 and 22 says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Okay, in the fullness of his sufficiency, which Esau, he's pretty much setting himself up to roll this thing out. You see, but it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Okay. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Okay. So the closer this man gets to setting up and establishing his new world order, the closer he gets to his own destruction. Prophecy is working against this man right now. But on the flip side, and it's beautiful that the brother has this put up, and we end it here. Prophecy is working against this devil now. Okay? So now we finna see desperation mode kick in, and that's when it's gonna get real draconian and real violent. Okay? In the earth. All right. But on the flip side, guess what? This is from the brother Nabala out there in GMS, Virginia Island Straight Gate, Shalom Akyah. This Romans 8 and 28, it says, and we know that the Most High causes everything to work together for the good of those who love the Most High and are called according to his purpose for them. Okay? So everything works for the good, okay, of the elect. Everything is working in our favor. The market's crashing, chaos, famine, all these things work in our favor, because if we're of their chosen, okay, we're going to be tried, but we're going to be shielded. Okay, we're going to be tried, but we're going to walk into favor and mercy. You see? So everything is going to work for our favor. Him wanting to change over the money system, all these things work in our favor and for our good. Okay? Everything is going to work on behalf, all right, of the hopeful elect in these times. So these are exciting times. We got to constantly, reinforce faith, reinforce, the goodness of our Lord. All right. And know that, hey, we're going to be good at the end of the day. It's going to be trying, but it's going to be good understanding what's to come. Our hope and expectation, should outweigh, hesitance and holdups and, and doubt. Like, what we expect, our hope and expectation is going to outweigh discomforts, man, for us to keep pushing and fighting through, So Lord will, you brothers, and you few sisters are edified. Just wanted to bring those things out, just kind of, set the tone of what we're going into, man. 2023, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of, things in the air, concern on what can happen, what can play out, and hey, in the spirit, we can see this thing going to the next phase, Lord willing, because everything working in our favor. So, till next time, I say Shalom, Kwame Yashala, Bob, DTA soon, Shalom.